The Big Bang Theory is one of the most successful sitcoms in television history. Running for 12 seasons and winning multiple awards, it became a cultural phenomenon. Fans loved the unique blend of nerdy humor, scientific references, and lovable characters like Sheldon, Leonard, Penny, Raj, Howard, Amy, and Bernadette. But while millions of people laughed at their jokes on screen, there were countless things happening behind the scenes that fans never knew about. From secret relationships among the cast, to clever set tricks and even Easter eggs hidden in plain sight, the show was filled with surprises. In this article, we will explore the weirdest and most interesting facts that the producers and actors of The Big Bang Theory never openly shared with the public. Whether you're a diehard fan who has seen every episode or someone who only watches occasionally, these details will make you see the show in a completely new way. One of the biggest surprises about the cast is the secret romance between Kaylee Cuoco, who played Penny, and Johnny Galecki, who played Leonard. Their characters had an on and off relationship on the show, and many fans loved their chemistry. What viewers didn't know during the early seasons is that the two actors were actually dating in real life. For about 2 years, they kept their relationship a complete secret, even from other cast members. Kaylee later admitted that during season 1 she had eyes only for Johnny, and eventually the spark grew into something real. They even went as far as sneaking through underground hotel passages during Comic-Con to meet without anyone noticing. The romance ended quietly, and unlike many celebrity breakups, they remained close friends afterward. Still, the situation sometimes made acting difficult. Imagine having to film romantic scenes with your ex while millions of people are watching. To make things even more awkward, the show's creator, Chuck Lorre, seemed to give Leonard and Penny more romantic moments after the actors broke up, almost as if he wanted to test their professionalism. Yet, Kaylee and Johnny handled it gracefully, proving their dedication to the show. This hidden relationship remains one of the juiciest secrets in The Big Bang Theory's history, and it shows how much happens off-screen that fans never realize. You've watched the show, you know how often the characters walked up and down the apartment staircase because their elevator was broken. These moments became iconic, filled with jokes and conversations. But here's the secret. The staircase didn't lead anywhere at all. Instead, the show used just one small set built on Stage 5 at Warner Brothers. The production team would cleverly redress it to look like different floors. They changed door numbers, added props like bikes or water jugs, and even adjusted the broken elevator signs. During filming, the actors would walk a few steps, pause while the crew changed the set, and then continue, creating the illusion of a long climb. The actors had to be very precise because the live audience sometimes laughed in the middle of their steps, forcing them to adjust timing. It wasn't just acting, it was like performing a well-choreographed dance. To make the staircase feel real, the set designers even dug into the stage floor to create downward steps. This clever trick fooled millions of viewers for years. But here's the weirdest part. Actor Kunal Nayyar revealed that Johnny Galecki had a strange habit of sticking his used chewing gum under the staircase during filming. Over 12 seasons, he ended up creating what cast members jokingly called a gum wall. It's a gross but funny behind-the-scenes detail that fans never saw on screen. Another surprising fact about The Big Bang Theory is the musical talent of its actors. While many sitcoms rely on fake instrument playing, several cast members actually performed for real. Mayim Bialik, who played Amy, learned to play the harp specifically for the role, even performing songs like Everybody Hurts. Jim Parsons, who played Sheldon, picked up unusual instruments such as the theremin, and he also played the piano and bongos in some episodes. Johnny Galecki is a skilled cellist in real life, and during one episode, fans noticed how naturally he handled the instrument, proving his training. Simon Helberg, who played Howard, has been a pianist since childhood, which explains why his musical scenes felt authentic. Even Kunal Nayyar, who played Raj, showed off his guitar skills on screen. These talents gave the show an added layer of realism and helped create memorable scenes. It's funny to think that while fans were laughing at the nerdy banter, they were also watching real musical performances without even knowing it. Sheldon's catchphrase, "Bazinga," became one of the most popular phrases in TV history, but its origin is not what fans expect. The word first appeared in Season 2 when Sheldon used it after pulling pranks, but behind the scenes, Bazinga actually came from one of the show's writers, Stephen Engel. He used the word during playful pranks in the writer's room, like when he taped a grapefruit back together and tricked people into thinking it was untouched. After revealing the prank, he would yell, "Bazinga!" The writers thought it was so funny that they added it to Sheldon's character. Eventually, it became a signature part of the show. Interestingly, scientists were so charmed by the phrase that in 2012 a newly discovered species of bee was named Euglossa bazinga. That's how deeply this silly word connected with pop culture. The producers later admitted that they had to limit the use of bazinga in later seasons because they didn't want fans to get tired of it. Still, the word remains a favorite, memory for millions of fans. Many fans never noticed that Sheldon's t-shirts had hidden meanings. His shirt colors were not chosen randomly, but were inspired by the Green Lantern color spectrum in DC Comics, where each color represents an emotion. For example, red meant anger, green symbolized confidence or willpower, and yellow represented fear. Blue shirts suggested hope or calmness, while orange and violet hinted at greed or love. These subtle details gave extra depth to Sheldon's personality. Whenever you rewatch the show, pay close attention to his shirt colors. You'll be able to tell his mood before he even speaks. This Easter egg is a perfect example of how much thought the creators put into small details that fans might overlook. Penny's apartment may have looked casual, but her fridge was full of personal items that added authenticity. Instead of using random pictures, the set designers filled her fridge with real photos of Kaylee Cuoco and her friends, as well as cast members and crew. This made the background feel warm and lived in. After the passing of Carol Ann Suzy, the actress who voiced Mrs. Wolowitz, the show honored her by placing her photo on Penny's fridge as a tribute. Fans who noticed this found it touching and meaningful. These small details showed how much heart the creators poured into the show. Another fun fact is that Leonard's glasses never had lenses. Johnny Galecki explained that during filming, the camera lights reflected off the lenses, causing glare. To solve the problem, he simply removed the lenses but kept the frames. Most fans never noticed, even though it was right in front of them, for 12 seasons. This small choice became part of Leonard's signature look. Similarly, Penny often carried the same purse throughout the series, and she wore the same floral shirt in 3 major episodes: the pilot, the 100th episode, and the series finale. These repeating wardrobe choices acted as subtle callbacks and made longtime fans feel rewarded for paying attention. The Big Bang Theory loved hiding Easter eggs in numbers and equations. Sheldon's favorite number, 73, wasn't random. It was the 73rd episode when he explained its unique mathematical properties, and Jim Parsons was born in 1973. Amy's apartment number, 314, was a nod to the mathematical constant pi. Even Will Wheaton's house number referenced the Star Trek Enterprise. Then there were the famous whiteboards filled with equations in Sheldon and Leonard's apartment. These weren't just nonsense scribbles. The producers hired UCLA physicist Dr. David Saltzberg to write real equations each week. Sometimes scientists even submitted their own work to be featured. This made the show scientifically accurate while also rewarding sharp-eyed viewers. Speaking of science, one of the coolest facts is that Mayim Bialik, who played Amy, is actually a neuroscientist in real life. She has a PhD in neuroscience, and the writers even shaped Amy's career around her real expertise. This gave the show more credibility. While other actors struggled to memorize complicated scientific dialogue, Mayim understood it naturally. Jim Parsons admitted that he often had no idea what the equations meant, so he memorized them like poetry, writing notes everywhere on set. The mix of real science and comedy is part of what made the show unique compared to other sitcoms. Fans often noticed that the characters wore lots of DC Comics shirts and costumes, but rarely anything from Marvel. The reason was simple. Warner Brothers, the studio behind the show, also owns DC Comics. Getting Marvel characters would have required expensive licensing deals. That's why you mostly saw Superman, Batman, and Green Lantern references. Still, the show did sneak in Marvel mentions, like Raj and Howard writing a song about Thor or Stan Lee's hilarious cameo. These little moments balanced out the corporate restrictions and gave fans of both universes something to enjoy. It is easy to forget now, but The Big Bang Theory was not an instant success when it first premiered in 2007. The early episodes received mixed reviews, and some critics thought the humor was too niche because it relied heavily on scientific references and nerd culture. At that time, superhero movies and geek culture were not as mainstream as they are today. However, the show slowly built a loyal fan base and word of mouth spread. By season 3, it had become one of the highest-rated sitcoms on television. This rise to fame was partly because of Jim Parsons' unique performance as Sheldon, a character that audiences had never seen before. His awkward mannerisms, combined with his sharp intelligence, made him both hilarious and strangely relatable. The chemistry between Sheldon, Leonard, Penny, Raj, and Howard turned the show into something bigger than just another sitcom. By the time new characters like Amy and Bernadette were introduced, The Big Bang Theory had cemented its place in pop culture history. This success story shows how patience and creative risks can pay off in the television industry. Many fans were heartbroken when the series ended after 12 seasons, and people wondered why the show had to stop when it was still popular. The truth is that Jim Parsons decided it was time to move on. In interviews, Parsons explained that he felt he had given everything he could to Sheldon Cooper and didn't want to risk repeating himself or growing bored with the role. Since Sheldon was the heart of the show, producers believed it wouldn't make sense to continue without him. Rather than dragging out the storylines or replacing Sheldon, they chose to end the series on a high note. This decision might have disappointed viewers, but it also preserved the legacy of the show. By finishing strong, The Big Bang Theory avoided becoming stale, and its ending felt more meaningful. Parsons later went on to explore other creative projects, including voice work on the spin-off Young Sheldon, proving that while the main show ended, the world of Sheldon Cooper still had more stories to tell. One of the biggest surprises for fans came when CBS announced the prequel spin-off, Young Sheldon. The show explores Sheldon's childhood in Texas, long before he moved in with Leonard. Unlike The Big Bang Theory, which was filmed in front of a live studio audience, Young Sheldon is shot like a single-camera comedy, similar to Modern Family. Jim Parsons narrates the series, adding authenticity and connecting the two shows. Young Sheldon gave fans a chance to see how Sheldon became the quirky genius that audiences loved. It also explored his family background, showing his mother Mary, his siblings Missy and Georgie, and his father George Sr. Interestingly, Young Sheldon has been praised for having more emotional depth, while still keeping the humor. This spin-off proves how strong the original show's characters were, since people were excited to learn more about Sheldon's past. Even though not all fans expected it to succeed, the show has built its own loyal audience and extended the Big Bang universe. Record-breaking salaries. One lesser-known fact about The Big Bang Theory is how much the cast eventually earned. By the later seasons, the 5 main stars, Jim Parsons, Kaylee Cuoco, Johnny Galecki, Simon Helberg, and Kunal Nair, were each making around $1 million per episode. This made them some of the highest-paid actors in television history, rivaling even the cast of Friends. What made this even more impressive is that Mayim Bialik and Melissa Rauch, who joined later as Amy and Bernadette, were initially paid much less. To support fairness, the original 5 stars agreed to take pay cuts so their co-stars could earn higher salaries. This act of solidarity showed the strong bond among the cast and how much they valued teamwork. While money is always a sensitive topic in Hollywood, this gesture proved that the cast cared about each other beyond just screen chemistry. It also highlighted how The Big Bang Theory became not only a cultural giant, but also a financial powerhouse for everyone involved. Another reason the show stayed fresh for so long was the impressive list of guest stars. Famous scientists like Stephen Hawking, George Smoot, and Neil deGrasse Tyson appeared on the show, adding credibility and excitement for fans of science. Legendary tech pioneer Steve Wozniak also made a cameo, delighting viewers who loved the geeky references. Beyond scientists, the show featured geek culture icons like Will Wheaton, who became a recurring character after first appearing as himself. Wheaton's ongoing feud-turned-friendship with Sheldon was one of the funniest subplots in the series. The producers also managed to bring in Hollywood stars like Mark Hamill, James Earl Jones, and Stan Lee, making episodes unforgettable. These guest appearances were not just random gimmicks, they connected perfectly with the characters' obsessions and made the world of the show feel real. Every time a famous person joined the cast,